Let's talk about, the matter in hand. This idea that everybody who arrives on a dinghy across the channel will be shipped off to Rwanda and then processed and then will stay there. That's not what's going to happen. These figures, the Times suggests, it looks at just 200 illegal migrants would actually be sent to Rwanda each year. We know that the Rwandan authorities have only prepared for 500, certainly not the 30,000 people who are arriving illegally on the channel dinghies at the moment. What do you make of those figures?
I'd be a bit sceptical, actually, about these figures having originally been landed on by the Refugee Council, I think. It's the number of people who are considered inadmissible out of around 8,500, 2%. And that has led to people saying, only 2% will be eligible to be sent to Rwanda. That is not what's going to happen. Look, Rwanda's not going to be the solution. On its own, it will help. And I think it does certainly show commitment. What do other people who are against the idea say? That we shouldn't be doing anything? So at least the government has finally shown some desire to deal with the problem. I think that the deal with Rwanda will depend to a certain extent on the amount of political will, on the amount of backbone that the government has as to how successful it proves. But I would ignore the 2%, 172.
You think that figure's a bit bogus? But this is the thing. We know the government has said they're going to drop that idea that I've always thought it was a daft policy and probably a dangerous policy and unworkable anyway, of trying to send boats back to the French coast. The idea was really to stop people getting on those boats in the first place, either being caught by the French authorities or ideally not wanting to get on those boats. And this is something I know you and I have agreed on for many years, and I know a lot of my talk breakfast listeners and viewers would agree on, which is that, people are certainly desperate when they are fleeing certain countries, whether it's Afghanistan or Syria or Iran, but they ain't desperate when they're on the shores of France, when they're already in a safe country and have probably passed through 3 or 4 safe countries already. And although they're legally entitled to try and seek asylum anywhere, arriving illegally by dinghy or by hiding in the back of a lorry is not what the British people want to happen, whatever the Guardian and the BBC might like to think. There has been some thought that this would actually just purely, the announcement of this and the sending of even just a couple of hundred migrants to Rwanda, that would be enough of a deterrent. I've seen some reports of journalists talking to migrants in camps near Calais saying, well, we're not going to come over. There's no point us now. We're not paying thousands to a people trafficker to get in a boat. If we're going to end up in Rwanda, we'll have to get back from there. And we certainly know in the last couple of days there have been no channel migrants picked up by the authorities. Probably more down to the fact there have been bad sea conditions, but is there hope that just the announcement of this policy has acted as a deterrent?
The announcement in itself, I don't think, will act as a deterrent, and indeed it hasn't acted as a deterrent. At the moment, it's still a matter of setting foot on a British vessel or on British shores. That's it. That's tantamount to arriving in this country and staying forever.
Yeah.
The message has got to be that cannot be, that will not happen. And let's bear in mind that 70% or thereabouts are male, working age, coming from a safe country. They're the ones that have got to be dissuaded. Yeah. And once people start getting sent back to or sent to Rwanda, I think the message will become clear.
OK. Art Mehmet, Chairman of Migration Watch, thank you very much for joining us.